Hi, I'm Coach Manny, a real estate expert. Welcome to Vatican Realtors Academy. Principles of selling. Principle number 3, make sales interactive. That is mastering the art of sales interaction. The foundation of this principle is a quote by Brian Tracy. Telling is not selling. Asking questions is selling. Sales interaction is a communication between a salesperson and the client with the goal of meeting the client's needs. You can call it a dynamic process of engagement that involves uncovering the needs of a client, building rapport, establishing a relationship with the client, and then guiding the client towards making a positive purchase decision. Now, when you approach sales as an interaction between you and the client, where you are trying to find out the needs of the client and how you can meet those needs, you see that sales become easy and quite admirable. An effective sales interaction will help you to build a connection with the client. It will also help you to understand the client's needs and expectations. An effective sales interaction will show that you are about meeting the client's needs, not about just selling. An effective sales interaction will also help you to tailor the product to suit the client. And then it lays the foundation for a business relationship. Sales interaction can come in various forms. Face-to-face with a client, that's a sit down or meet up with a client. Via phone calls, so it might be a cold call. The main focus of sales is to meet the needs of a client. Your first objective will be to understand that client's need. And this can only be achieved through asking questions and active listening. The second goal of a sales interaction is to present your product in such a way that it ticks the client's boxes. That means present the product that matches the client's expectations. 6 different sales hacks that will help you in your sales interaction with clients. Hack 1, start with a simple introduction that highlights what you do. When you meet a client, make sure that the first minute is just a simple introduction, your name and what you do. Now you must understand that clients don't really have much time. When you meet them, you're supposed to make available use of your first 1 to 2 minutes to get them to now pay more attention. The hack 2, ask and use the client's name or title throughout the interaction. Now, a lot of people get it wrong. They ask you, what is your name? And at the end of all the talk, they will never use your name again. You get to know the name of the client and then make sure you repeat it within the conversation. Now, understand this, there's something Dale Carnegie said in his book. He said, a person's name is the sweetest sound to that person in the entire world. That means the person likes hearing their name. So when you repeat the name of that person, the person feels like, yes, this person sees me. Another thing is the title. We're emotional about our title. And when you miss that title, they don't even give you any listening ear. Now, one mistake you can make is mispronouncing a person's name, or in a chat, misspelling the person's name. Once you mispronounce or misspell the name, the person loses interest. The person just has a wall like, how can this person not get my name? Now, what you can do is when someone tells you their name, when a client tells you their name, if you didn't get it properly or you don't know how to pronounce it well, you can ask the client to repeat it. You can even ask the client, how do you spell it? It shows that you are interested. Hack 3, make the client feel important. The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Your client wants to feel like they are important. Now, how do you make someone feel important? You talk more about them than about yourself. During a sales interaction, you need to encourage your clients to talk about themselves. Now, how do you do it? Find something that is striking about that client and remark on it. Allow them to exhaust themselves when they are talking. You can even ask them more questions about it. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. Everybody wants to brag about an achievement or something they have. Now, use that to get them to open up and talk more to you. So that 5 minutes or that 2 minutes they want to give you, they will elongate it by themselves. Hack 4, find out their interests and their perspectives on the product. Have you bought any piece of real estate of recent? That's a conversation starter. You can now ask follow-up questions like, where did you buy? Tell me more about that real estate. You allow them to talk. Now remember, the goal of a sales interaction is to make it more interactive, make it more about your client. So get your client to talk more to you. Now, why did you pick that location? From these interactions, from these questions, they are getting to understand the client's mind, the client's interest. You can ask, did you have any challenges when you bought that real estate? At the end of your question, or when you feel satisfied with the answers you've gotten, you then ask something like, wow, I see that you sound so excited about this acquisition. If they really liked it, would you like to buy something similar to this? Or if they didn't like it, you now tell them, I feel like you made some mistakes while buying this piece of real estate. Would you like something that can give you exactly what you want? And then let's say the client says, no, I've not bought any piece of real estate. You can ask, may I ask, why haven't you bought? No, let the person go on and tell you about money, because usually that's what they'll tell you. There is no money in Nigeria, you know this, you know that. Don't argue with them. Just allow them to talk, to express themselves. Now, when they are done expressing themselves, agree with them and tell them a personal story. Just tell them something that will motivate them to buy. A story that will help them see what you are saying. The best way to persuade people is to get them to see what you are saying, not just to hear you. Now, after telling them that story, through what you tell them, through the story you told them, you can now ask them if they feel they can do something similar. You can ask them, what kind of property would you like to purchase? Let them be the ones making the decisions. Another way you can find out their perspective on a product is to get them to see that product and make recommendations. Get them to see it. That's one way you can make sales easy. You can get clients' perspective on the product. What do you think about this product? By the time they've made recommendations, they can even tell you the things that will prevent them from buying so that you can adjust that product. Hack 5, in making sales interactive, avoid arguments. Dale Carnegie said, no salesperson wins an argument. You might feel you've won an argument, but then you lose the goodwill of the client. When you lose the argument, you still lose the expert feeling the client has for you. So the best thing you can do for an argument is just to avoid it. Concentrate on persuading people. that is subtly changing their mind. Doesn't mean disagreement can come up, but there are certain ways you can make a disagreement not to turn into an argument. Number one, keep an open mind. The client might be right, you might be wrong. Now, the number two is listen and allow the client to finish. Don't interrupt the client. Don't just listen. Active listening. That means listening to understand what the client is saying. Not just that, I'm listening to just reply you. No. Number three, don't defend. And then dwell on the areas you agree on. If you want to change the client's mind, instead of trying to negate what the client is saying, just find a story or something that will paint a picture of a different outlook for that client. Make sure you skillfully avoid arguments with clients. Instead, help them get to your way of thinking by agreeing with them on some things and then telling them certain stories or showing them cues that will help guide them to your conclusion. And then hack 6. Ask how you can contact them. Don't assume that a client will need to be contacted via phone. Don't assume it's WhatsApp. Don't assume it's email. Ask the client, how do I contact you? It helps the client to understand that this is more about him than about me, the salesperson. Remember, sales interaction is making sales a communication between you and the client, where it's more about the client than about you. In sales interaction, if you are the one saying 70% of what is being said, then the client is not interested.